I'm live. Amazing. Let's start with that smooth jazz. Boom. You love to hear it. You love to see it. Let's make sure I'm not echoing the audio anywhere. We're good. Maybe. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. What's up, my smooth jazz enthusiasts? How's it? Oh, sorry, this is my Kill Team channel, not my smooth jazz channel. What's up, everybody? First things first, obviously. Academic Chris, already add into that hydration fund. Thank you so much. You're too generous, sir. You embashfulness me. Thank you. AOD Jeweler, yeah. I don't know, you know, it's so obviously this is going to be a tough stream because, as you know, I'm really just here to talk, to chat, and I don't care about saying other things. But I do feel like I've let the Kill Team community down a little bit because chances are you follow me for Kill Team, so I probably should talk about Kill Team. And I'm quite happy to not talk about Kill Team if the chat is banging. However, we've just had the announcement, of course, of whatever it is. The balanced data state is dropping sometime this week. I'm gonna guess Wednesday. I don't know. What do you think? When do you think it's coming? And yes, there's quite a bit to talk about. So obviously I did the video. Allow me to ruminate briefly on what on earth I said there. So obviously I just got Pathfinders wrong. And you might think, wow, Andy, that must be pretty embarrassing for you. And all I can say is engagement for the engagement throne. Wrong rules for the wrong rules, God. Because out of my first 4 comments on that video, keep in mind that engagement is everything, because the more engaged people are, aka leaving comments, upvote, downvote, doesn't matter, the more people will see it. First 4 comments, 2 of them were correcting my rules. So I didn't do it deliberately, but I should have. You know? Yeah. So anytime I make a mistake, just know I'm loving life. There you go. Right. So we start off with a bold. Now, hydrate Dominatus, but shouldn't it be pronounced Hydrata Dominatus, right? Hydrata Dominatus, because it's fake Latin, so it's not hydrate like we would say. AOD need Dueler because they have no other way to reliably kill without taking damage and have no healing. All the other elites can double hit, heal, etc. So that is something I hadn't actually noticed before, that every other elite team has healing. Nemclaw don't have healing, do they? Oh, sorry, you said double hit, heal, etc. You said etc. Well, I can't argue with an etc, can I? Fair play, fair play. They do have other shenanigans. I maintain double block just isn't, like, you just don't need it. I have played more AOD than any other elite team, so all I can say is that playing it into AOD as and against, at no point did a double block feel good either way. It often meant I would win quite handily, perhaps. I know that obviously you can discuss Exaction Squad. That is the, you know, their thing, their shtick is a double block, but they are 4 dice hitting on 4s. It just isn't comparable at all. And to make that, even like, they had to fight first, so it's just not comparable, you know. Yeah. Of course, there's shooty hordes and local metas, but every elite team has their BS. Every elite team does have BS, yes, I agree. But it shouldn't, because they're already strong enough in the current meta. They don't need the BS. They are just good in their datasheet. AOD are the epitome of that, above the others, I agree. They kind of don't need BS additionally, I would argue. Hence why the BS has had to be nerfed, because everybody just played Warp Covenant Legionary at Worlds because they were too good. It's fine. It's fine. We just need to nerf things. That's okay. Hello to Academic Chris. Hello to Kaz. Hello to Eddie. Great to see all of you. Pain in my eye. Good to see you. Heyo to you, sir. And we continue down the chat, and it jumps naturally. There's me complaining that I'm actually ready on time for once, and sure enough, I did go live on time. That is what she said, Academic Chris. Yes, indeed. Indeed. You know, yeah. Sorry, I was going to say something very inappropriate regarding times and the paying of a lady of questionable purchasable morals there. Move on. Don't mind if I start early. I think algorithms might. I'm not really sure. I'm very keen that I start exactly on time. I don't know why. I would hate to be late. But actually, it's better to be late than early. Sean Smith, hello. Hello, hello. I got some time off over the Easter break. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yes. Hopefully everybody else did as well. The Pope certainly got a lot of time off. We know that much. Hit the like button. Indeed, imagine it is a hydration button. Music sounds good. Love to hear it. Oi oi, hello hello. Kill Team Ken. Oh, do you not have your regular meeting today, Ken? That's great. You can get some hobby done instead. Love to see it. Love to see it. Good afternoon, Kiwi. Gustavo Morales. Hope you Vespers get some love. Yes, they're my first mini, so I'm a little attached to them. I think the Vespid buff is coming. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's hitting. GW knows Vespid are not where they should be. I think this is the one where it's going to be blammo. I don't know what. I don't think they need much. They're such an odd team. Because again, their actual total maximum output is pretty good. But, yeah, they're so dice reliant. I don't know. If you overtune, they will become overtuned very quickly. I think is the issue GW might be having with them. And they've given them 9 months to prep. So, yeah. Let's just say that the last balance patch didn't help. Lethal 5 has not... sorry, I'm talking absolute bollocks. I can literally look at the difference. I can literally, instead of talking out of my anus, I can just look at the difference in the win rate. Thanks to friend of the channel, Kill Team Stats from Chris on Coffee. I'm actually going to do this. I'm going to talk about Kill Team? Mad. So we look at the data lake comparison. Okay. I'll keep going as I load this up. What's up, dudes? Love the streams, Eddie. Thank you so much, Warhammer 420k. 420? Hey. Man of impeccable taste there. I don't do drugs, to clarify. It's memes. It's memes. Alexander. Jewel? Do you hit the jewel? My good sir. Juul. That was a vaping joke. Thank you. I think they're going to make it illegal to use the second floor of Volcus. Honestly? I'd be okay with that. I don't think... Has that continued to be a sore spot? I do think the second floor sucks. I would be totally fine if they just said, hey, you can't go on the top floor. I'd be fine with that, actually. So, Exaction Squad players, sweaty. Totally agree. Exaction Squad players, all sweaty. Super sweats. Super sweats. Agreed. They do look awesome. If you like cops, because you're a fascist pig. Sure. Oh. Not Emperor Palpatine. I'm sold. I agree. That is definitely not Emperor Palpatine in the chat there. Somehow, not Emperor Palpatine returned. It takes long for certain players that may output more sweat. Lame players. Okay. Oh, yeah, right. Because obviously, the actual thumbnail for today, which I was originally going to talk about as my one thing, is how long Kill Team takes to play. Because recently there was, in 40k, when I went to TO, the tournament, I had some thoughts about how long Kill Team took to play versus how long 40k took to play. But then, additionally, apparently in that very tournament and in follow-up tournaments the next weekend or two, 40k players were noting that actually a lot of 40k was not winning. Jesus Christ, Eddie. Was not reaching turn 5. Like, they weren't actually finishing their games in 3 hours, which is the standard tournament time. So I was like, oh, maybe I need to rethink my thoughts. And so I was going to have a chat about that on stream today, which we can do. We can do. Because we have hour and a half, 2 hours here. So any suggestions on 3 players or 4 player Kill Team game? Yeah, sure. I would say go to double board Double board size is probably what you want to do, and then just double up. Yep. Start in the 4 corners, whatever. Have fun. It depends how deep you want to go into it. I know that we all love it deep, but you might want to keep it shallow. For me, I think if you're going to play a 3-4, I think, no, not a 3-player. If you're going to play a 4-player game, I think you should add additional mechanics. For example, so in general, I'm a huge fan of social deduction, social games, basically. So I think what you want to do is basically make like mini werewolf. What you do is you have 4 cards, because there's 4 of you. 2 of them will say loyalist, 1 will say heretic, 1 will say rogue trader, whatever, right? Or deceptor, decepticon, something like that. And then you actually change, so you still play. I've gone too far. Needless to say, you including rolls and alternative win conditions is probably quite good fun if you want to actually make it a proper format. The idea being that you can always trade any of your resources to anybody else in return for whatever you ask for, right? So it's quite loose in that regard. But then the way they actually win is by trading to the correct person. Anyway. Too soon, Andy, too soon. I agree. Yes, I apologise. Johnny, looking good. Thank you, Johnny. I have no doubt you're looking mighty fine yourself as well, my good sir. Digging the Felgor, interdimensional space goes, what's not to love? I'm not really a goat man, if I'm honest. A goatman, if you will. A goatsy, you could say. But I know that some people got really into them. And hey, if you like winning, they are the team to play. So yeah, sweet, sweet. We don't need drugs. We have plastic crack. I do normally reach turn 3 when the 40k TO is cooked. That's great. That's great. Good. I think 2 hour for 4 turns non-tournament game is okay. Alex Park. So for Kill Team. For Kill Team, 2 hours, 4 turns. I agree. I do not think the game should ever take any longer than that. And anybody that knows me knows I'm an absolute stickler for timings, because in my opinion a faster game is more fun. Right, very quickly I'm going to go back to Vespid. So for whatever reason Vespid went very minorly down in popularity by 0.02% since the last data slate, but their win rate went from 25 to 43%, so it went up 8 slots overall, which is pretty cool. So clearly that Lethal 5 has genuinely helped. I haven't played them again since they got that buff, and I did say when they got the buff that getting that Lethal 5 is actually, I think, a very good thing. Like, I think, yeah, that makes sense why they gave them that, because their damage output, I'm talking into elites here because that's all I can think about, is solid, but you need those crits. Getting double the crits, because that's what Lethal 5 is actually really, really good. So I liked that Lethal 5 change. However, it's not Lethal 5 on everybody, and actually, in reality, the way I played Vespid was very, very hard hitting, very heavy, very push forwards, because that's how Fly lets you work. And if you do that, you're not going to have Lethal 5 for very long, because the 6-inch aura of the drone, either you push forwards and then they kill your drone, so you're tough, you're done. Or you don't push forwards with the drone and you're shooting from the back, and then you're a standard shooting army on Volcus, so you can't shoot anything. Additionally, Vespid kind of suck on Into the Dark, which is not going to help them. We don't have any way to delineate between kill zones, so we don't know where they're actually getting smashed quite so hard. But I imagine a lot of it is not going well for Vespid on Into the Dark. Here, but you missed the double hello. I haven't actually double helloed yet. In fact, I could probably do it now. Hey everybody, if you're watching the stream, I'd like to give you a big double hello. Wow, wasn't that so wholesome? I haven't done a double hello in so long. I've almost forgotten what I'm supposed to say. Wow, wasn't that so wholesome? Yeah, let's just end it there, because I've forgotten what I need to say. I do know what to say, but only as muscle memory when I start to say it, and then ramble through it. There you go. Ah, Malev, the solo kill team master there. Great to see you. Great to see you. Ian Hayward, Deja Vu. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, sorry. I should also probably. We've already had a donation today from Academic Chris. Thank you so much. And as everybody knows, whether you support me here in the chat or if you support me over on Patreon, that support money goes straight towards my hydration fund. Hydratus Dominatus, my brothers. Sorry, my brethren. There you go. Today we have a nice freeway cola from Aldi. Is it? It's Lidl. Sorry, from Lidl. Buy local. There you go. In fact, I'm burning up. I've got to take this off. Jesus. Right. Greetings to you. Hello, Ian. Hello. IMO, one of the most time-consuming areas of the game is the setup. I wish Warhammer would just give us a simple flowchart for the setup. Choose maps, display teams, pick equipment, etc. I agree. They do need that. But a lot of the quick start guides give you exactly that. Yeah, but they should have that themselves. I agree. It should just be on one of the tarot cards. It should just be We know it can be done. The community did it. There was a 2v2 scenario in Saga where you start on team red-black and have playing cards, and halfway through the game you all play either red card or black card and switch to the related team. Oh, okay. Nice. How do you think GW gathers data for the balance changes? So, Raphael, they've discussed that. From what we know, and they've said this publicly, is that they have access to BCP stats. However, because Kill Team is a much smaller data set than 40k, although since they said this, it is now a much larger data set than it used to be, so who knows, but it is a much smaller data set than they would like. That is for sure true. They also kind of go by key player input as well. So, of course, nobody knows who the playtesters are. They no longer wish to be identified, so we don't know who they are. But one would assume that the playtesters are regular players. We don't know if they're high level, if they're narrative, if they're low level, if they're mid. Who knows? Because we don't know who they are. But presumably, they are at least quite engaged in the communities. And so they are able to gather additional kind of anecdotal evidence themselves outside of even just their own playtesting, one would hope. But yeah. But the only official source that is actual data driven is BCP. RP Horton. Evening. Any advice for a newbie playing with Goremongers for the first time? Well, Horton, I actually just played against them for the first time just a few days ago. How to play as them? The good thing with Goremongers is that as a new player, you can't go too far wrong by just charging forwards and killing stuff. And if you kill stuff, you're going to do pretty well. They don't have great matchups into everything, but they have pretty strong matchups into a lot of teams. Just, you're going to struggle into elites, I think, is the only thing with them. Which makes sense, of course, because you get more powerful when you kill a model, and there are just fewer models on the board for you to kill, and they are tougher to kill when they're elites. So you don't have a great matchup into elites. Everything else you're pretty damn good at killing. There you go. So if you have a heavy elite meta, and you do have a heavy elite meta to be clear, you'll do pretty well actually. Yeah. So a very odd team. It kind of brings us back to how Kill Team is very, in my opinion, rock, paper, scissors at the moment, I believe. And unfortunately, everybody's playing rock and paper, which is elites, right? So they are smashing face. So is it possible to randomly switch into another team and suddenly have a 3v1, but there are certain buffs or boons depending on how teams end up? Can't exactly remember. Okay. That sounds crazy. But Andy, what is a double hello? A double hello inbox? What a double hello is a double hello is a hello that's given to you twice. It's a pleasantry that's given to you twice. And who wouldn't want a pleasantry given to you twice? That's just pleasant. Obviously. Ian Hayward also bought Warcry starter box for some fantasy action. Lovely, love to hear it. Finally started to play KT. Krieg got stomped by commandos. They will. Yes, that will occur. That will occur. Welcome to how everybody felt in Kill Team 2021 for the first 6 months of the game, as nobody could win with Vetguard playing into commandos. Yeah. And then eventually, as a community, we got better. We understood the game more, and it turned out that actually Krieg were better than commandos. But then towards the end of the edition, turns out commandos were better than Krieg. Crazy. Just crazy. Warcry is a banger. So sad to see that it's looking like it's going away. Genuinely, I get why they would scrap Warcry. But I would hope that they would revamp as opposed to scrap. Yeah. If it does go away, I would assume it won't actually go away for too long, because I think that quite clearly GW wants all of their systems to have a skirmish version, right? Oh my god, unless they're going to say that Underworlds is the skirmish version for fantasy, and that would explain why Warcry wasn't at Worlds, but Underworlds was? You know what, I'm going to move on from that topic. Jesus. That's a drama video if ever I've heard it. Oh my god. I just had that thought live as I thought about it. I had been considering doing a Warcry is Dead or whatever, mainly because I want Warcry to come back. So you have to start the conversation with, but where is it now? And Warcry is dead. But I had convinced myself that actually, yeah, like, no, it can't go away because GW has, that's what they're doing. They have to have a skirmish game for both sci-fi and fantasy, right? But what if Underworlds is the fantasy? Damn. That's depressing. Okay, never mind. Let's move on. I don't know anything, obviously. I'm just guessing, talking. Just talking. Oh, do you think the Sacrifice will see any change in the balance update to it? It's too early. Look, we all know that Sanctifiers are in a bit of a state, but they've only just released. And from what we know, like, from what we know, the way GW works is they need about 2 months, from what we can tell, to go from we've identified a problem to fix the problem. About 2 months seems to be their timeline they work on. We have seen emergency balance patches, but I really don't think you should emergency balance patch after, what, 2 weeks? I think that's a bit mad. The only way that could happen is if something went mad in playtesting and they were done by like a different playtest group, and then they were finally given into the hands of the other playtesters a month ago, and so they've only got a month drop on it or something like that. And then all the playtesters played it like almost just before, like when creators got it practically, and said, what's going on here? What? And so they have like a month head start, something like that. But no. Also, God, I hate to be that guy. I hate to be the classic fence sitter, the classic, let's wait and see, guys. But I really do think, as much as I do think you need that tournament data. I think you got to have it. Yes, it is clear they're broken, 100%. But I don't think they should be nerfed before the month is up. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. But an emergency balance patch, yes, I'm down for that. If they do prove that brokenness after like 4 weeks of tournaments, cool. I'm fine with that. We don't have to wait the full 3 months for the next one. But let's get some scores on the boards, if you will. 2 different Sanctifier teams went 4-0 into perfectly balanced, exactly. No problems there. Salut, no problems there. Exactly as it should be. Reading the title, yes, I hate this game. By round 3ish and especially 4, I want to start playing less defensive so I get tamed. Yeah. I do that sometimes. I'm so bored of it. I'm not bored, but I'm so done with the game. And I just move stuff forwards. I'm like, okay, yeah, kill me. I don't care. in a video game. Exactly. MR. There was quite a bit about Kill Team in this month's White Dwarf. It seems they have an internal league in GW. Narrative card deck was cool too. Yes, I saw that. I was about to make a video about being quite doomer posting. Because all of the teams they picked were from the final... They were from this new edition. So new teams, like Aquilons and Vespid. And the final year of last edition. So like Scorpions, Dwarfs, etc. I can't remember exactly what. But then so I was going to say, oh, look at this. Isn't it interesting that GW is not playing the teams that are about to get Legendsed? But then one person was playing Phobos. I was like, okay, I've lost my point then, so I can't do it. Is what it is. Is what it is. C'est la vie. Suck my D. So I didn't do that. There you go. Thoughts on Vet Guard? They look really awful. I just don't... They just won, like, one of the biggest tournaments, didn't they? Not as sorry, no. It was a mid-tournament. Mid-size. Or, but, you know, large-ish. So Sammy, the guy that had the LVO drama alongside Chris Backey, who was playing Warp Coven, just took them to win in, like, a 30-player tournament. So... maybe they don't kill people, but they win. So that is super impressive to see that happen. I haven't seen any of the more competitive people get him on for an interview, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, clearly they need to hurry up with that, because nobody comes to me for how to win the game. Don't make me reach out to him, Jesus. But yeah, hopefully he gets on with that, because he, like, you know, 30+ player tournament, 6 rounds, he won with Vet Guard. When is your video on custom kill teams coming out? Don't know, haven't written any of it. I had wanted to finish doing some hobby before I do that, so that I can show you the models I want to make the custom kill team. And buddy, I don't... You can't hold me accountable for hobby timings, unfortunately. Let's be honest on that one. Yeah. That's the unfortunate thing there. I don't like hobbying. And so the fact I've decided to do a video that is being held back by hobby, awkward. The Hosmos knows no bounds to the world of Glass Half Dead. I had forgotten to say that. My gosh. So out of touch with the youth of today. Legally, as I should be, to be clear. The painting article a few weeks ago didn't have Warcry. I want more Warcry terrain. Well, they've just wrapped up their Gur thing. Logically, they need to move to Shyish, my man. Or light. They could get funky with it. It doesn't have to just be death. They could go the opposite and go really hard into, like, the realm of light or something. Or air, or whatever it's called. I don't know. That would be interesting. But the logical next step is indeed death. Shyish. But yeah, the Gur never really tickled my fancy, I must say. My love, I've got people on the inside. WC is in a weird place, but you're right, it can't really go away. It just needs to be understood. Oh, man. There are not... So I don't have any contacts on the inside, right? I wish they would reach out to me for Warcry. Genuinely, right? I'm not the guy to go to for Kill Team. I'm not the guy. I shouldn't be a playtester. I shouldn't have any input into Kill Team, 100%. But Warcry... Man, I'd make a hell of a game. I'd make a hell of a game. Possibly not the game they want, but it'd be a banger. I'd love to, actually. Because I think they've got a great framework, right? Like, a really good foundation there. They just need to give it a little bit of sauce. A little bit of sauce, and I reckon I could glaze it. 420 glaze it. All over that sauce, if you know what I mean, guys. And girls, sorry. The problem with Warcry, for me, is that it wasn't deep enough to hook. Once again, we all love it deep. Understood. Understood, not deep enough? Dump his ass. I mean, sorry, don't play the game. I would have fun, but then not think about it at all, unlike Katie, where I'm thinking for the rest of the evening. It's an interesting one, yeah. I think that, you know, Kill Team, love it or hate it, has a lot of really interesting tactical decisions to make in the heat of the moment. And I always have a good wrap-up chat with my opponent, but then once I'm done, I don't think about it again, right? because there's nothing to think about for Kill Team. Whereas with Warcry, you play the game, you say, oh yeah, you know, this, yeah, cool, right, but that was a bit random, then, well, you rolled a bunch of 6s, and that's kind of what the game's about, and then you didn't roll the things you needed to use the command points, whatever they're called, I can't remember. So, hey, if you rolled dice better, that would have been a really good turn for you, wouldn't it? So the wrap-up chat kind of is a little bit less, I feel. The gameplay's fine. It is less tactical, but it is what it is, that's fine. But then you get to think about the list building afterwards. So it's a different type of thinking away from the game. From the board, I mean. But yeah. Yeah. With the next kill team, but different strokes for different folks. With the next kill team box having NIDs in them, do you think they will expand on the solo missions versus the NIDs in the kill? Yeah. So, yes. Niall, from what we know, they've openly said in the Warcom article that yes, we are getting like a whole NPO update with the Tyranids. Yeah, we don't know what exactly, but we've got all of that terrain. We've got Hormigants, which we know are not match play. They're NPO specific. So yeah, we're gonna get loads. I don't know what, but yeah. Eddie, hello, my man. Hello, God, Andy. Why do you always have to be so controversial? I assume this was said at a point where I said something that was very not controversial, and that is sarcasm. But I have so far said quite some controversial things as well, so I'm not quite sure. Yeah, not entirely bored, but except I lost on. Yeah. I'm the same indeed. Vetguard clearly need nerfs. They won one tournament. That's 100% with you there. If anybody can win with them, we need them gone. This is a team about to go to Legends. We can't have them winning. Get rid of them. Boot them out. Nerfs. That's what we need. Do you think it's better to use the captain or the assault sergeant on a fight heavy? I'm a big fan of Justian, the captain himself. I would always run him, actually. Yeah. There you go. That's my preference. I think that perhaps if I had to be a little bit analytical about it, although why would you come to me for analytics, I suppose, and like actual mechanics, I think into other elites you want to go with Justian, the captain, sorry, because you're looking for that 7 crit, whereas if you're going into a normal size or an Eldar or a Horde, you don't need a 7 crit really, so you can probably drop down to the Sergeant. There you go. But into other elites, getting to just a scratch, one of their normals and crit on 7s is really, really strong. Get Semi on the Chan, Andy. Scoot the big eyes. Yeah. If he reaches out to me, I do something. But no, I'm not in that game anymore. You know, I'm not really that guy these days to do that. Warcry Realm of Fire, Metal or Air would be so cool. Yeah, again, I would be rooting for Shaiish. I think it's also their safest bet, if I'm honest, on that one. But yeah. But hey, anything's better than meat trees. I didn't really vibe with that. I wish they would reach out to me. Yeah, shockingly, a whole bunch of game designers wish that GW would randomly reach out to them to redo Warcry. Weird that, isn't it, Maya? Yeah, it's weird. Yeah. Piosa, hello. I think I have to learn to like to hobby. Nah, don't do it, mate. Don't do it. My local store just closed down. Oh, no. Oh, no. That's a absolute disaster. Jeez, really sorry to hear that. Absolute killer. That. I know that, God, it depends how people are. So, for example, every meta and every country is quite different in this regard. But in the UK, I don't play at my local game store. I have a local club where we just kind of find a bar to play in, essentially. My local in Salisbury, Tabletop Tavern is where we currently play, which is quite a nice little venue. So we are completely independent of a local game store. I actually quite like that, but of course it does mean you have to find that community and still find a venue. Yeah, maybe we should. Let's do it. Let's just fix Warcry. Step 1. Make it better, I guess. I don't know. I was wondering, as it's been a bit since the boss battles were posted. Yeah, no, I know. Yeah. It's because I have to paint some models. I have to paint some War Machine Signar models, and then I'm going to try and turn them into like a valid kill team. And I'm going to explain how. But I have not painted them yet, because I'm currently, because we know Typhon is coming, painting my Tyranids. So, I know. Do you have any opinions on what to buy for PvE in Kill Team? I was thinking of buying a box of Necron Warriors or Orc Boys, but seems like that would not have enough diversity, or Marksman / Brawler. Okay, so, actually, the Orc Boys, the new box, not the old one, the new one, is actually 50-50 Chopper Sluggers and Shooters. So that actually gives you like 50-50 Brawlers and Marksmen. So that would always be perfect if that's what you're looking for If you want a single box for diversity, that's probably the way to go. I would say the other option is to just take a kill team. There you go. I assume if you have more than one kill team, just play against the other kill team, but make them generic MPO profiles. You'll be fine. Warcry list building is fun. I agree, Stork, it is. I love list building. I am a simp for list building. Absolutely love it. Agreed. You mentioned list building. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Me too, buddy. I wish we had list building. It would be so cool. You know, just the other day, I had a friend come round, admire the plinth, the pedestal, the dais, the palantir, whatever you want to call it, and just we kind of lamented for like just 10 minutes, just looked at it and lamented that, man, wish I could play with all this crap in Kill Team. It's like, yeah, it's very sad. I know. Let's not get into it. Kill Team this building would be awesome. We all know it. It's insane they don't have it. Moving on. Van, hello. Was thinking about adding a dark commune to my 2K list, which could double up as the Chaos Cult. Yeah. Yeah, the Chaos Cults are sitting in a pretty decent place right now. We have a few people, I know in the UK, doing quite well with them. So they've got play, no doubt about that. And you then get to play them in 40k. Even now, as I don't play 40k, he says, with multiple 40k armies sat behind him, I still always, you got to find that value for money in everything, all these purchases in this current economy. And I'm always like, ooh, could I make a 40k army out of that purchase? If not, probably won't buy it. Yeah. Even when I'm buying for Kill Team, I mean. Why do country metas form? It's the same game after all. I don't know. Different personalities, different cultures, different expectations. I would assume. I'm still awkward shrimp. I'm still playing my compendium lists. So the old model, Sadhammer. No friends to play locally. Would you be my friend? Yes, awkward shrimp. Of course, we can be friends. For the low price of that's. Sorry. Yeah. Sure. That is literally. That is what these streams are for. These streams are for me to just sit here and talk to chat. I'm not here to make any points. I'm not trying to improve anybody's gameplay experience. I'm not trying to teach you anything. I'm here to talk to my community, and that's it. I have no intent. If the chat dries up, I'll go ahead and make a point, right? But as a YouTube creator, it's very one way, right? Like, I might say something and then people comment on what I say in my video in the comments, but there's literally no point in me responding to those comments because I'm not going to argue over the internet in text, right? Like, that's not, I don't like that. I became a video creator instead of a Reddit poster for a reason, So it's very weird. But this is one of the few ways where I actually get to interact live with chat. So I quite enjoy it in a sense. Hey, just got my first War Machine models. Love to hear it. What do you get? TBH the salesman said these mechs are modular. Oh yeah, they are. That's true. I will say that my Signar, my Grave Diggers that I just picked up, absolute blasphemous occurrence, but I did not use the magnets. I just glued them because I have a bunch where I've done the magnets and I'm just like, oh man, So many just little bits lying around. I don't want this. I don't want this hassle. I don't care. I'm just going to put the cool looking weapons on and glue them. Cool idea. Didn't actually work out for me. Fixed Warcry is a fan. If it makes a better game and gets people playing, then you're winning, but poor. Well, I won't make any money from it, indeed. But that's fine. I could. It would be interesting, but I don't necessarily... It would be a fun experiment, like a thought experiment, but I don't think I'd actually gain anything from it, especially since I'm not a Warcry content creator. Having been on the internet for some time, I can already tell you how someone that is outside of their main sphere of influence would be received by doing a fan mod and people saying, oh, he doesn't even like the base game. Why is it? It's not worth the hassle, I would say. What's your Easter egg of choice? I don't eat Easter eggs. There you go. Not that I wouldn't love some chocolate, but I have diabetes. And so when it comes down to how much do I want to stab myself with a needle? That's the question I ask before any carb or sugar. The answer is an Easter egg good enough to do that? The answer is no. Unfortunately. A scone? Now we're talking. A cinnamon bun? Yes, boy. Get it. Glazed, obviously. But in fact, if I were to go to, let us say, America, which I would not do at the moment, obviously in the current climate, a Cinnabon. Oh, it would kill me. But I'd do it. I'd take the bullet for that. But yeah, there you go. So no, I don't know. No eggs for me, unfortunately. I made Skaven into a kill team, and I'm hoping to make them balanced. They are more close range for what I have built, and only 2 of them having long range guns. Awesome. You know, if it's just for you, they don't have to be balanced. You know, like, just make it work. Just have fun. If you've probably seen, I'm relatively loose on these things, right? So like, hey, you made it accidentally not good enough. Hey, guess what? Skaven, they're known for coming in all over the board, and that's what they're gonna do. Oops, they spawn in randomly now for the rest of the game, and it's like, oh, cool, I've made the game harder. Nice. Whereas you hadn't intended to spawn those in, you know? Like, yeah. Just vibe it out. I realise that's not what people want to hear, perhaps, but I am a big fan of just vibe it out, if it's just for you, you know? Doesn't like playing 40k, doesn't like painting, collects more 40k hours. I agree, sir. I have problems. Yes. Yes, I agree. Join the Patreon, you become Andy's friend. That is true. Anyone that provides support, not only is it Hydratus Dominatus, but you will become my friend. Got grave diggers. There's something that triggers inside all mid-30s males brains when you see a World War 1/2 thing, but then you add on top fantasy, magic. We're unable to stop ourselves from purchasing. Yeah, it's an issue. It's an issue for all of society, really. But what else are we going to do? Not buy cool World War 1/2 fantasy stuff? No, of course not. Of course not. War Machine, Gravediggers, Awkward Trim, Admech here. Disappointed by the... Oh, man. Oh, Admech. Yeah. Stiltman here. Stiltman and Co. Oh, man. Those servers... Yeah. Sorry. And a Balloon Man. Sad. I envision people in GDW opened old... Man. Yeah. So, I conceptually could really like Admech. And if you tell me, Andy, we're coming out with a new Admech kit, it's going to be all cool, unique dudes, because it's like, you know, it's a Clade going forwards, it's a stealth Clade instead of the Hunter Clade, or whatever, right? It's like, oh, wow, awesome. All Admech. Oh, sorry, what's it? But all servitors, it's like, ah, man. It does not inspire confidence. I've got to be honest. I will still paint the team. And you know what? The rules might be awesome. As in fun. Not like strong, OP, but fun. And I might even play them. But I guarantee you, the first thing I do if I decide I really love the mechanics is I will proxy the team for something more interesting. And that's a real shame because I'm not anti-AdMech. Deja vu, well, first question should have been scone or scone. However, if we've just moved past that and accepted it is scone, cream or jam, well, so I am cream first. I'm cream, then jam. Because of course that clotted cream, nice and thick. So basically, that's your butter, isn't it? Or of course you can do butter, cream, then jam. But yeah, jam's on top. I can't see a world in which jam is on top and the world is in a better place for it, if I'm honest. I'm American, don't want to... can I come to your house? This is not a political stream, but yes, I am providing asylum for all Americans. Yes, thank you. Alessandro Ambrosio. Hi, Andy. Kind of a beginning question here. What is the guard action? Is it exclusive to Into the Dark? Yes, Alessandro. So it can only occur on Into the Dark, on Gallowfall. There are some rules that act like guard on open, on focus, or on anything else. But let's not talk about those. So yes, it's only a rule that can occur on Into the Dark. Basically, for one action point, you go on guard, and that allows you to do what we in the industry like to refer to as XCOM Overwatch. There you go. So you get to react. I love it. I actually genuinely think that guard should be just a generic action anyone could perform. It probably shouldn't work exactly like guard on Into the Dark works. It probably works slightly differently. But the reactive Overwatch is just such a cool thing. And I genuinely think that they should make the game work with that being a thing you can do. There you go. Don't go here. I see idiots and racists daily. Like these dudes had a microphone and flags on the side of the road. They got nothing better to do. I saw a Cybertruck and gave him a big thumbs down. Thumbs down. Sure. I like that that's how we put across our interests. Yeah. That's all we've got. That's all we've got. War Machine's just launched a Tribes page on my manufacturer. I'm definitely interested, even though I'm just adding to my ever-growing collection of 3D bits. Yeah, Sean. I think like it's free and you get like 100 STLs. It's mad. I mean, some of them are like base choppers and stuff, but yeah. I'm not a 3D printer. I am a human. But if I was a 3D printer, I would probably be quite excited for it. When it's too soon to start hyping World War 3 war games? Yeah. Damn, it's never too soon. Let's just, yeah. Start now, because once it happens, we're going to need a couple of decades to get back to manufacturing capability, right? So when you said to Warhammer alternatives, alternatives in what sense? Do you mean alternatives to Warhammer 40k? Alternatives to just the models? You want a proxy but play the GW rules? Or what? Yeah. I always say, look, GW doesn't do the best game systems. But you know what? You can always play a GW game. And the best game is the game you can actually play. So, as much crap as I give GW, I do tend to generally like playing war games. Ish, you know, hardish. But, you've got to have an army in the back pocket. Because then you are guaranteed to get a game somewhere, right? But if you decide you're going to go super niche and like because you think that thing is genuinely the best game, that's awesome, and you're probably right. It might well be the best game for you and stuff, but like nobody plays it. So tough question. They should remake the sniper mission with a stilt man, and every turn his legs get taller. It'd be quite fun. Yeah. Fellow AdMech player, also been disappointed in the UKT. Happy we got one, but servitors, yeah, I don't know. It could have been so much. The only saving grace, I would say for the AdMech kill team, to both Jim and Awkward Shrimp there, is that you can roleplay the Mechanicus game. That's kind of its saving grace, I would say. That's not much. I'd rather have better models. But like, yeah, that's the best I could say for it. I'm going to proxy the Admech team for my Orc mechs, and yeah, that'd be sweet. Immediately more interesting. Congrats. Immediately. Hooray, I got chat to work. Hello everyone, I am Mr. Incredible. Second ago. Hello, Space Marine Mindset. What is the Space Marine Mindset? Just, what we eat, sleep, pray, repeat? Is that it? Eat. They don't need to eat. Fight. Something. They don't do the other F word. Fight. Man, my brain, my synapses are firing on all cylinders today, aren't they? Great stuff. Russell, need to have less core rules than 40k. Warcry is the way. Warcry is a pretty solid game. It just needs more crunch. There you go. That's basically it. That's it. But it needs crunch in the correct place. I'm not going to make this a Warcry stream, but I'd make a banging Warcry rule set. That's all I'm saying. Okay, moving on. John Coleman. I know I am alone in this, but really want the new Plague Marine character in my KT as a champion. I love the full game models over KT. Yes, I get you. I vibe you. I dig it. However, I would say that one of the really good things about the Marine teams is that they're super proxyable. If you like that new Death Guard character, put him on a 32mm base. Done. He can be one of your guys. No one's going to argue with you. Legit. Legit. Andy, don't offer asylum to me right now. I'll start looking for jobs in Salisbury. Yeah, do it. Do it, my man. My man. My couch is relatively comfortable. Cheap rates, you know. Cheap rates. You're going to make another tier list again. Yes, because everybody always watches tier lists. However, I'm not particularly good at tier lists at the moment, unfortunately. So I always have to do some sort of twist on the tier list. A twist list, if you will. And I don't know, just what's the point of a tier list? Etc, etc. Yeah. And usually, annoyingly, I use the tier list to find out which team I shouldn't play. But yeah, I suppose actually a tier list this week is the time to do it because we're about to get the next balance patch. So I should do a tier list tomorrow. Well, I guess we know what I'm doing tomorrow. There you go. Unless the new rules come out, in which case I'm doing that. You like reactive Overwatch? Have you? I am fully aware of Infinity. Yes, of course, the ARO system, very cool. I like their hook line. Is that you know, it's always your turn. Is their thing with Infinity? It's a cool idea. It's a cool idea. How I was actually going to do so. Corvus Belli, great company, big fan of them. Expensive AF, but is what it is. Sent me Operation Sandtrap, and I fully painted it. Fully painted it, which you know how much I love hobbies, so saying a lot. And I was going to do a full how to play over on Tactical Skew because I was quite hyped for it. It got delayed, so got pushed back, fine. But then the core rulebook is 196 pages. That's just pure rules. And I was like, I can't do that. I'm out. So, yeah. Because I was quite enjoying, I did a few how to plays for other systems. Like, I did War Machine, a 3-part War Machine. I did Halo Flashpoint. I did Underworlds. I did Kill Team. And it's just like, there's a kind of fun in digesting a rule set so much you can do a how to play for it. But like, oh my god, 196 I'm out. That's crazy. Been trying to teach my wife how to play Kill Team. Sadly, it's just too complex for her. So many rules for us both to learn and remember. Yeah. So, the only thing I can kind of say to that is that I recently played played a game of Kill Team with my girlfriend, and it's all about knocking it down, right? You have strip out as many rules as you can and just tell her what she can do. Don't say you measure 6 inches. Don't say you need to, like, just say, hey, do you want to attack me? Do you want to fight me? No, do you want to shoot me? Do you want to fight me? Do you want to move and hide? And then just show her how it works. And then understand that for your first few games, you're basically going to be playing for her. So you say, here are the things you can do. What do you want to do? And then do it for her. So that you're basically acting as her computer, right? Imagine it's a computer game. And you are taking all of the stress off of her having to know mechanics, and you play it. I think that's the way to lure a new player in for the first time. However, if you say that you are also a new player, that's a real tough one. Really tough. Honestly, war games are so hard to learn. Like, yeah, mad. Really tough, really tough. So I don't even know what I could suggest to you. You just have to learn the game. Here you go. Don't get caught up in learning the tournament game, right? That's not what Kill Team has to be. Kill Team doesn't have to be using the approved ops. You can just play the core book. Have fun. The light rules, play those. They're pretty solid. It's a solid rule set just from the light rules. And forget anything not in there. Doesn't matter. Genuinely. It's good. So I've been looking at my exaction squad data cards and noticed that the marksman crit does 0 damage. Is it supposed to do something special? No, that is correct. So the reason it does 0 damage is because it has devastating 4. Basically, the way if something has devastating 4, that means you are, as soon as you roll that 6, you do 4 damage. Basically, it means they don't get a save. They cannot possibly save that 4 damage. It's just straight through. Yeah, so that is correct. Is Custodians with System of Silence using all greatswords viable? Well, Luke, that is not existing in the current edition of Kill Team. However, in the last edition of Kill Team, yes, that'd be fine. Yeah, that is very viable, in fact. I'm not a 3D print, I'm a human, needs to be on a shirt. That would be amusing. Yes, I agree. I do not have the capacity to do artwork, but if I did, it'd be there. The trick with niche games is to collect 2 sides so you can offer 100%. Yes, you have to have 2 sides. 100% agreed. It's not wasting money. It's investing. Orc mech sound awesome. Agreed. Evening. Hello, Evil Bear Skirmish. Awkward Trim. But Mechanicus was all tech priest. Was it? Was it? Okay, I might have just made up in my head that it was all... I thought you got 2 tech priests and the rest were servitors. Servitors? Servitors? Can't remember. Okay, my bad in that case. In that case, forget it. Terrible team in that case. I agree. Tech Marines with similar weapons. I wouldn't mind a big Castellan robot. Oh yeah, Castellan robot would be sweet, obviously. I notice you in... Oh, Tomel's. Yes, randomly. I was just bored yesterday and scrolling through my feed on YouTube and somebody making Volcus popped up. So I was like, oh, I'll watch that. Why not? And I'm a bit of a capital G gamer myself. So I'm all, you know, I've always got my fingers in pies when it comes to gaming pies, if you will. Cream pies as well, obviously. And so I just dropped in, you know. I'm not really a Path of Exile guy. But, hey, it's a guy talking. Hobby on screen, and it's Volcus. And I do generally try to keep my ear to the ground on, like, how people that are not in the sphere view Kill Team. I think that's really important. Most people that are in the sphere enough for me to hear them are already in enough to find the communities, right? But he just happened to be doing it. I've never heard of him before. I've never heard of, like, his meta. Portugal, no tournaments. So I've never heard from Portuguese players before, right? And the fact that I could connect and hear his viewpoint because he had a channel for another reason is really cool, I think, you know. Just from my perspective, to see how other people that aren't into it enough to get into other scenes of Kill Team or Wargaming, it's really interesting. Yeah. Yes. So, to be clear, I'm not pretending like I'm a dedicated Ruakan follower. He just popped up on my feed and I hung around for like 45 minutes and it was fun. Vet Guard tier list where you rate which Vet Guard you could take in a fight. That'd be quite fun, actually, yeah. Yeah, that would be a good one to do for like the next April Fools. Tier list of which Kill Team operators I could take in a fight. Can Commandos win Marines in... It doesn't have to be... April Fools to do a funny video. I could just do an amusing which Kill Team operators could I take in a fight. That'd be quite funny, actually. Yeah. Anyway, Vet Guard tier list. Can Commandos win Marines in Kill Team? It is possible, yes. You're going to have a real uphill struggle, though. Especially depending on your skill. Yeah. Uphill struggle. Yeah. Morning all. Hello, Miko. Afternoon app went a bit long. Also love my tier list. Nice compact info to start from. I agree. They are... Tier lists are good, yeah. You get a lot of information packed up into a small package. Nothing wrong with that. Am I right, lads? Am I right, lads? Kevin Dave. Damn, I'm late to the party. I know. What have I missed? You missed a double hello. And you missed a Hydratus Dominatus. And that's it, actually. You also missed the weird disconnect. Where I'm about 15 minutes behind chat. And the whole point of a stream is that you say something and the streamer says your name and reads your message and talks to you. At least that's my reason for going into other people's streams. So, hope you're still here. I played against Blades of Cain with AOD at the Knots Kill Team tournament on Beta Decimal 121.3. Ouch. I played with you with AOD against Bok in Jan. Ah, yeah. I recall. The Kasakin. No. Kash-chan. What can be done to boost Bok as they are a poor? So, here's the thing, Dave. Outside of that tournament, the only thing I can say is that I play into someone that is probably equal skilled to me, who loves his AOD. I played into him, I don't know, 10 times. He could not beat me on Volcus. It was close every time, but I won every single game on Volcus when I was Bok into his AOD. When we flipped it, it was impossible for me to win into his AOD on Gallowfall, and I've never played Beta Decima this edition, so don't know. So it's so difficult to say that Bok need a buff. However, 21-3 is real rough, I will admit. But when they're already good enough in one kill zone, kind of what do you do? Really difficult. Don't know. But then we also have, of course, Chris Backey, who managed to basically win LVO with them, including on Into the Dark and Gallowfall. So there's something in them that is enough sauce for the horse, if you will. So it's tough to know when to buff and when to nerf, and what are we buffing for, what are we nerfing for? Are we going for the high-end elite players? Are we going for the mid? Because if you actually look at win rate versus podium rate of Blades of Cain, they're doing okay. Like at 4-man, 24-player plus, 4-round, 24-player plus tournaments, they're not doing bad. They don't need a buff at that level. So if you then buff for the noobs out there like myself, how are you then not pushing them even higher for the other teams? Is it actually a case of they're just hard countered by AOD? Maybe. So do we actually need to nerf AOD? Do you need to play something other than AOD and see how super strong they are? Are they being gatekept by elites at the moment? And that outrageous 14 wounds. How do we get around that? You know? But are they super OP into every other team? Possibly. I don't know. I have no answers. I do not make points or statements on this stream. I am not the guy to go for that. Skaven Kill Team has respawn mechanic. Sure. I mean, it's a made-up team. You can give it respawn mechanics. Why not? That makes sense because, of course, they're Skaven. So you can just have one of their gnaw holes. Boom, done. Dang, I can't blame you. I hear people get interested in Infinity, but then the rules... Oh, man. Yeah. 196 pages. What am I meant to do with that, right? I'm not against complicated rule sets, but that's a bit much. What's good, glassheads? I don't know if that's what we're calling people, but okay. Brewster's minions. Hello, all. Hey, Brucey. We know we're getting the data slate drop this week. We might have to get a game in on record, perhaps. Consider it. Consider it. I don't know when. I'm actually busy. I'm at work. I'm busy all week, so might not happen. But this weekend, maybe. I don't know. We'll talk. My man and I got the starter set and are using that to teach ourselves the basics before we launch full rules in our teams. Love to hear it. The light rules are really good. So, yeah. Do the actions for her. Andy thinks we're too dumb to decide for themselves. Once confirmed. Cancel time. I'm messing. We love you. Hey. It's not limited to women. I think everyone's dumb. No, I think learning wargames, really hard. Really, really tough. Really difficult. For everybody. Yeah. There you go. Genuinely, some of my best games, I was playing with my friend Wes 40k the other day. That's what he did for me. He treated me like an idiot. He said, now you need to roll 4 dice and roll 5s. I was like, oh, thanks. One of the best games of 40k I've ever had. So there you go. Yeah, luckily my local store has a beginner Kill Team event at the 1st of May. Oh, sounds awesome. I'm going to attend and hopefully learn something. Love to hear it. Where are you, Spaceman Mindset? A local. What would be the best way to go about recreating Mechanicus in Kill Team? I love that game. Necron versus Admech. Yeah. You've just said it. Right? Hybridtech Circle versus the new Salvager Clade, I assume it's called. I'm really hoping Vespid gets some kind of buff in the upcoming update. Dig the models and feel of the team. But they really struggle ATM. Yeah, they're having a rough one. They're having a rough one. As I said, I just think they need a shenanigan. You know? I don't know what that shenanigan should be. The reason I went with a command point is because primarily it would also help them on Into the Dark because they have no way to like open doors effectively, you know? It would get around that. It doesn't have to be the only way to get it, but I don't know. It's an obvious one and they already have a resource that they can spend on things. So it's like, oh yeah, maybe we could do that. I don't know. Tough one. I don't know. I'm excited to see what GW does though, because I kind of think they won't do that. Because I think that's, if I think of it, too easy, too obvious. So they're going to do something else, which will be less obvious. So I'm definitely looking forward to see what they do. Do the funny video, it will be great. Yes. Oh yeah, which Kill Team operators could I take in a fight at the tier list? Yeah. Spend the 90 minutes of the tier list bigging yourself up about how you can beat them all up, then 5 minutes putting everything into the would beat me up tier list. Yeah, something like that. That's what I'm thinking. I think the joke of the video is that I put all of them into like bottom tier because I could beat them up. Obviously. And then I say, oh wait, but they have this, and then move them into they could beat me up tier. I don't know. The joke is that I get them all wrong. I don't know, something like that. I'm still here. Lovely. I love your streaming style though, because every single message is given attention. Credit to the grind. Yeah, it's not for everybody. You know, a lot of people obviously do hobby streams. I can't do those because if I did a hobby stream, I would either not do hobby and it would just become this, or I would not read chat. I also wouldn't talk. I cannot multitask at all. I cannot do hobby and maintain a coherent thought. So it's genuinely, it's this or it's nothing. Yeah, there you go. Which is really frustrating. Definitely some sort of mental elasticity issues that I have, so. But yeah, as I say, I just kind of wanted to have a chat with the community. And there's no other way to do it on YouTube, to be honest. He lost 4-0. That's really bad. Yep. In fairness, they're not a, like, easy team. They're very fragile, and if you don't know what you're doing, for example, if you think they're a melee team, you will lose every game. They can't play as a melee team. They're a shenanigan and range team that happen to have melee. What do you do, right? What do you do? Ahoy, hoy, halogen. Predicted day for the patch. My hope is Wednesday, Thursday, actually, yes. Because, as discussed, we need a tier list tomorrow. But if they drop it tomorrow, my tier list isn't going to happen. Because I'll be doing that. And then the tier list is too late. So, I would like them to not drop it tomorrow. But I am excited for it, that's for sure. So, and then I also hope they don't drop it when I'm at work. Because I've got to be in work like the whole week. Can't do any working from home, so that's frustrating. We'll see. Had to wait until payday came around, but finally picking up the Wrecker box. Excited to throw a lot of dice. Don't worry, I use your link. My man, love to hear it, love to hear it. For anybody wondering what he means there, hey, I and every other YouTube have affiliate links. If you're in the UK, I have Whaling Games and Element Games. If you ever purchase any Warhammer, go to your favourite YouTuber. It doesn't have to be me. If it's me, thank you very much. But go to your favourite YouTuber. They have an affiliate link. Use their affiliate link. It costs you nothing and they get a little kickback. Every time you buy Warhammer, you should use an affiliate link. I do. I can't use my own. But there you go. Pro tip. Spread the wealth. Wrecker Crew, they're hype. They're hype. I am liking them. I think they need a buff. Hate to say it, but I think Wrecker Crew need a buff. However, I want that buff to be really targeted. And I want it to be something like Wreck Door. Wrecker Crew are just fine on Volcus. They need something on Into the Dark. They're a team designed around attacking for their APL to get that 3 APL, which they need to be an effective team because they're an elite team with not enough models. But then they have, you know, they have an entire kill zone designed around not letting you do a thing because you need an extra APL. Real problematic. There's going to be a long list of buffs and nerfs, right? Like nearly every team being touched. I would assume so. I feel like this has to be a big one. You know, the first 6 months they're getting their feet under the table. They're waiting to get feedback. They clearly had some sort of issue regarding delivery. So yeah, I think that this should be a big one. I would hope. That's what she said. Am I right? Oh, and you go. Hydratus Dominatus. I've been wanting to do a narrative campaign with Kill Team as I have like 5 armies for 40k. Yeah, so I don't know if it's going to happen. My plan is that whenever this Kill Team MPO thing, Typhon, comes out, is I want to put the Kill Team board on the table with the terrain, obviously, and then around the table, so in the background, I'll be doing like a cinematic style battle report. I want to have all of the Tyranids on one side, as in like whoever I choose to fight against the Tyranids, they're in the middle of the swarm. That means I have to paint a buttload of Tyranids, I'm not going to lie. So I'm going to work on that. But yes, 40k armies are 40k. 40 cool. Yeah. Local 20 sat, so I would assume it will come out Friday or Saturday. Yeah, nice. Exactly, John. Yeah, good. Yeah. I have a Kill Team day on Wednesday. Going to be weird if it drops. No, perfect. That means everyone's having extra fun. Everybody wants to see their new rules, right? I just don't know how you can buff them, though, without going over the top. They throw so many dice and hit so hard. They do, and they don't need any help killing things. They don't need any help with survivability. They just need help on Into the Dark. That's it. You also don't want to give them extra APL in any other scenario, I feel. So it's like, yes, Jin, much as Caveman Dan said, that their stats are right, it seems, for what we can tell. It's just Gallopful. Bomb Squigs, be able to be on conceal, be a great buff. No. Hard pass. I agree. They tend to get shot before they deliver. But that's okay. There you go. That's fine. That's okay. They should. Right. Wow. The end of chat. So, I guess I could talk about time. Very briefly, I suppose. When I went to the Kill Team tournament recently, the Kill Team rounds were 2 hours. The 40k rounds were 3 hours. And don't get me wrong, Kill Team is a better game. I believe. Like, definitely it's a tighter rule set, better game. But everybody views that differently. But the advantage that 40k has, because, you know, it's still a game, is it looks so much cooler. And if you ignore what the game is for a moment, you're getting so much more coolness in 40k than you do in Kill Team, right? Kill Team is not a game of my guys. It's a game of the teams you're allowed to play. 40k is a game of my guys, because it's got list building and you can play whatever the hell you want, right? If you want to run the worst army possible, but it's your guys, they are your guys. The lack of list building in Kill Team means that your guys are one of 36 teams, and that's it, right? They're not your guys. They're everybody's guys. They're communist guys. They're whores, if you will. And that's a bit of a lame one, if I'm honest. So the awesomeness of 40k is in the spectacle, is in the army customization. It's really cool. That's ignoring the game, right? When you then think that Kill Team takes 2 hours now, right? 2 hours. I don't think you can go under 2 hours. Genuinely. Because we even had, like, there was some of the London crew were down, and some of them, I think Nick Collins, who's the Crossfire Games guy, Bart at one point, who ended up coming second, I think. Like, both of those players went to time. They did the full 2 hours. Now, it was probably because their opponent, right? But they went to time. So, I really would struggle to say you should go under 2 hours in the current edition. And that's so sad. When you consider that Kill Team 2018, we had hour rounds. And then Elites took us to hour 15. The game has doubled in time, right? Fine, whatever. I'm not talking about Kill Team 2018. You then look at 40k. 3 hour rounds. Now that's a long time. In a vacuum. But it's only 1 hour more than Kill Team. And you get so much more spectacle. Nobody would be playing any GW game if we were playing checkers. If we were playing with little blank circles, nobody would be playing any of these games. The game mechanics are not good enough, right? We're here for the theme. We're here for the spectacle. And I hate to say it, but I think that 40k has enough more theme and spectacle than Kill Team to be worth 1 more hour. And that's the first time I've ever thought that. Genuinely, right? That's really sad to say. I hate to say it, but it's true. Coffee Cow, I will go and read through chat properly, but to clarify, the tournament rounds were 3 hours. So I have to assume at least some people were finishing in 3 hours. For me, yes, 40k takes way longer than 3 hours. I couldn't finish a game that fast. But I have to assume that people going to a tournament are able to finish the games. Right? So, 3 hours is a long time, but you know what? 2 hours is a long time. It's not even double the time, and you get so much more theme and spectacle and majesty. That, like, shit, maybe I could do that. Maybe I could do that, you know? And then I went and played this good game with my friend Wes. And it was probably like the best game of 40k that I've played before. I've talked about this with my patrons. I've probably talked about it on the channel as well. But like, you know what? I could play this for 3 hours. This game that I'm having right now is worth 3 hours. The games of 40k I've had before are not worth the 6 hours they've taken, right? But, yeah. And that is questionable to me. But the spectacle's there. And if we accept Hydratus Dominatus... Right, moving on. Okay. Bomb squids to be able to seal. By my friends' records to try them out, which convinced me to get my own. I smashed through Legionaries and Nemclaw. Oh, okay. Interesting. Good. Yeah, doors. Good luck. Good luck. I guess thematically, orcs don't understand what a hinge is, so I guess it makes sense. Records with a hot, yep, 100%. I guess on nerfs of some description. Brew Brothers, Corsairs, Starstriders, Inquisition, Legionary, Nemesis, Novitiates, Phobos, Plague Winds, Warp Coven, AOD. So just half the teams. Cool, cool. So I know that Brew Brothers just won, like, the big Spain tournament. But I haven't seen them do anything outside of that. I mean, they haven't been nothing. But I really haven't seen them doing crazy things. Or at least, maybe I'm not paying attention, to be fair. But Squig Hate? Yeah, maybe. Buff Blooded, Jaegers, Hunterclade, Aquilons, Kaskin, Pathfinders, Breaches. Oh yeah, Breaches need something, don't they? Jeez. Plagues will take a nerf. I thought they were where they wanted Marines to be. We don't know what they're doing with elites. I think that I would hope that this is the data slate where all elites take a nerf. Whether that's a nerf to counteract, perhaps. I don't know. But elites clearly need a nerf, right? The problem with 40k is that 3 or 3.5 hours, they tend to not finish their games. They end turn 3, 4 out of 5. So if that is true, then obviously that negates what I've said. And once I've caught up with chat again, I will discuss what you've just said there, because I was listening to Morty and Glory, who was doing a little drama video about how actually it turns out that a lot of people were not finishing their games in those 3 hours. So I will get back to that. Yes, I think there's things they're reintroduced, like the universal can't reduce damage below 3. Yeah, there's no reason to not have that, I think. But 3 hours, you're fast, more like 4. Probably true, it turns out, yes. Yes. But I think, yes. A 3-hour game is a different proposition to a 4-hour game. Because then you go back to, it is twice as long as Kill Team. Not just 1.5, right? Which is very different. Played my Plague Marines into Goremongers. It was brutal. I did 8 damage in shooting to them. And they did, yeah. That was kind of how my game into Goremongers went when I was AOD as well. I felt like when I was AOD, it was because I had Dueler. And I could just double block. So he just couldn't do anything. But, yeah. But then I feel like Goremongers are one of those teams where if you remove elites from the game, they're going to be doing just fine, right? Worth saying that the ability for 40k armor to be custom is very variable. They keep pushing out armies like Wordbearers or Votan with barely any data sheets that lack much customizability. Not Wordbearers, World Eaters. Oops. Yes, that is true. But, I mean, sure, it is variable. But you have just picked 2 of the smallest armies in the game. So I agree it is variable. I can say that much. Yes. Not all of them are customizable. Yeah. In your narrative, would you have NIDs coming in and attacking to help the MPOs? I haven't, so I don't know, because I don't know the rules yet. So Don't know what they're going to be. It might be purely visual, so I have just the NIDs in the background whilst I'm playing the Raveners, or I might do an actual narrative game where I assume I have the Raveners and the Hormigants, and then I'm playing the other team. I don't know though. I don't know. Again, I'm going to have to wait until we actually see Typhon to know what I'm doing, and if I can be bothered, and I have the time, and all that stuff. Even 40k teams world championship is 3 hours 30. Sure. Again, I agree. However, 3 hours was the time given at the event I was at, and I believe is the time at most events. Maybe not the teams, but which is fine. But yeah, three hours is what I've seen. The fact that people aren't finishing in 3 hours is an issue. Yes. Am I not for the next year? I'm not going to actually get into 40k for at least a year, because at this point I might as well just wait for 11th, right? But I can do some hobby. Oh, I can't. I hate paint. We'll see how that goes. We'll see. Love me twice yearly 6 hour games 40k with pizza break among mates. You get a pizza break within that 6 hours? That is hardcore 6 hours of playing for me. I cannot finish a game. Like if you add lunch in as well, that's a full 8 hour day minimum. I'm not fast. Apart from when it matters, am I right, lads? Jesus. Sorry, I am sipping on this cola, not glugging it. I don't want to finish the stream and still have cola left. I've done it every time the past month. And it's really frustrating. So I want to go to bed after this, but then I have to finish the cola and then wait for my teeth to be brushable. Hashtag first world problems. Yeah, it's taking around 3 hours playing while learning with my friends, KT21. I hope we get it around 1 hour after a while of playing. So I did a whole video talking about how long does Kill Team take to play. If the board is fully set up and you are both very into it, it could be an hour. If you're including setup, it will never be an hour. Just won't be. There you go. Just throwing that out there for you. Or if it is, it's because one of you absolutely stomped the other and it wasn't a fun game. But yeah, 2 hours, 10 models versus 4 hours, 50 to 100, it's worth considering. Yeah, it's like... Yeah. There's just a lot of majesty to the 100 models, isn't there? A lot of theme, a lot of coolness that I do think you are missing in Kill Team. I hope to order my Hydratus Dominos team real soon. Again, if I manage to get an artist to do that for me, I will do it. Yes, 100%. According to somebody... Okay. Nice. I'm not aware of that guy, but... The more tier list, the better. I personally prefer Command Point. I was thinking about this the other day. I think from the competitive channels, I do actually think Command Point puts out probably the best stuff. So I always prefer their tier lists. It's like they do long ones. They're more like podcast based than like short snappy things. But yeah, I prefer Command Point for my tactical doctrines, if you will. All the games taking too long in Big 40k, how much worse is it being made with many armies getting more hoardy and cheap in points? Well, I mean, that's always the problem, right? GW clearly wants to sell a certain number of models. Like, and hey, coincidentally, if you lower the points cost of things, people have to buy more models. And yeah, the hobby crowd is bigger than the competitive crowd, it seems, but it's not like the competitive crowd doesn't exist. And if you can make an extra, what, 100 grand? 20 grand by just increasing or lowering the points cost by 10 points of something, well, you should probably bloody do it, to be honest, shouldn't you? Right. Yeah. I know you hate hobby. What's your proudest painted model? Oh. I was about to say I don't have one, but it's obviously this guy. Because he was on the front page of Warcom, wasn't he? He was the banner on Warcom for a day. which is obviously insane. We call that comedy gold. But yeah, I don't actually think he's painted any better than any of my other models, to be honest. I don't have one. If you're thinking about, like, from my painting skill, none. I'm completely ambivalent to all of them. I have models that I think are the coolest model, but not because I've painted them, just because they're cooler models than others. Yeah, I genuinely am not connected to painting, like, emotionally. KTE has a few list build teams that fill that itch for wargaming. Only reason I like Inquisition AD. Yeah. For whatever reason, I just haven't gotten into those more list buildy teams. But yeah, I don't know. Whatever it is, they do not scratch that itch for me. But it's good that some people view them as doing that, I will say. KT takes too long. Have been playing 500.40k games in 1.5 hours. Yeah. Yeah. I agree that Kill Team takes too long. 100%. 2 hours is a really long game for what you're actually doing, I think. As in, like, you know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think you get enough bang for your buck if you're looking at time to action ratio. I'm not saying it's a bad game. I just wish it was faster. There you go. I guess the concerning thing is that in this edition, they even made an active effort to make it a faster game. And it seems like the community has said, oh yeah, we're not even going to try an hour 45. We are 2 hour games. Just across the board. All tournaments, 2 hour games. So it's like, okay. Never mind. Yeah. And teams have a waiting on time in the game. Brew Bros versus Rattling's IT Diva knots on site. Oh man, that sounds horrifying, to be honest with you. Yeah, I don't like games that last more than an hour generally. I'm kind of the same. An hour and a half is my genuine max. I would like, if this game takes longer than an hour and a half, I'm out. I don't think a game should take longer than that. Yeah, a skirmish game. Setup takes me forever and I have such a hard time finding a map layout to use because I have no idea what I'm doing when it comes to setting up terrain and objective markers. I would hope well, if you have Volcus, you can just use the preset layouts, which is what I do. So I only ever play one of those 6 maps. Works pretty fine for me, to be honest. So Command Point put records in D tier and got annoyed when I thought I was saying I get this struggle at ITD. But by the numbers, I have decent win rates everywhere else. How are they actually doing at the moment? Wrecker Crew, where are they at? I can't even see them. They must be at the top somewhere, right? Mid, Wrecker Crew 14. Yes, they're currently at like under a 50% win rate, and that's up since the last balance patch. And with an increase in popularity. Oh, only just. The problem is, if they have a bad matchup on half of the boards they play on, and then on the other half, they've got a 50-50 matchup, then they kind of aren't D tier, right? Let's imagine every tip. I don't know why I'm explaining it. You understand exactly what I just said, Jim. You get it. I think that warrants them being in D tier. Even if they're really good on a Volcus, they then suck over there. Right? No tournament player in their right mind, knowing that you're playing on 50% on Into the Dark, would ever take that team. Sounds like an issue. Setup is extremely D. Correct, Sage. I agree. Too fast ends up being tactically derp, and I keep hearing about if you just want to roll some dice. Yes. Correct. No, people are allowed to want different things from their games. I think, of course, the key is finding the sweet spot, the balance point, right? The idea that you can't have both in a game is a bit silly, in my opinion. I think you should be able to have both. I think that if one of you wants to just roll some dice and one of you wants to get sweaty, you should both be able to do that. Seems fine. Kill Team is not a game where you can play casually and just roll some dice, which is fine for the game that it wants to be. I just think it's a bit of a bad choice. That's all. I love any kind of game regardless of how much time they take. I think the most important is to be able to turn it around at any point and not just stand there waiting for it to end for 2 hours. It does seem that something GW is leaning into now since Age of Sigmar, and then we know that the new 40k balance pack is doing it, is the underdog mechanic, and that's exactly what you're talking about there, Durin. So, the slingshot mechanic, whatever it's called, I don't know, the slingshot, the underdog, whatever, it's, hey, if you're down by this many points, you get a buff, right? I wouldn't be surprised if our next approved ops does the same. So that even when somebody is doing that, you know, that Blades of Cain being stomped by AOD, and you're down 21-3, right? Then suddenly you get that thing. You get, whatever, an extra CP a turn, which we already saw them do when it comes to the this edition for initiative swings. Still not enough, let's be clear. Still not enough, we know that. We need more. But, like, I wouldn't be surprised if Approved Ops does something in addition. Yeah. You can also label the pieces for Volcus to make it quicker. Yes, you definitely should. You should always label the underneath, much like we do for Into the Dark. I assume you do if you watch my video on hobbying that. Yeah, you should label them underneath. Like with Blood Bowl, sometimes the dicing is so bad it's clear you won't have any chance after the opponent moves it. Yes, I'm aware of that. Oh, they didn't roll a 1? Well, I guess I lose. Hey, me and my friend started Kill Team last week. Your videos came in clutch. Those stronghold rules are written so... yes. I suppose. The problem is, I think they're written fine. I just think there's so much to take in anytime you're starting a new war game of any form, right? So, in general, I think that Kill Team's written fine. But man, it's rough. I would genuinely say, you know, like, hey, start with the light rules. That's like play the full rule set. If you're going to tournaments, yes. If not, probably skip it. Probably just play light rules until you're really, really comfortable with them. Then progress. Then if you want, you can add in approved ops, secondaries, etc. Otherwise, Kill Team is just fine as a game system on the light rules and without going that far. Obviously, you're on a Kill Team channel, sadly, among a die-hard Kill Team community where everybody expects you to be playing at the top end. No one expects you to be a cash noob, right? Everyone expects that the progression is A to B, it's very linear, but you have to end at B. Nah, man. Take a detour. Stop halfway. Game's still good. Do what's fun for you. I Go You Go is horrible. I don't think I mentioned that. But that would be 40k. So it's a different system. And as just discussed, I think that there are different merits. But I agree, in general, I agree that yes, I Go You Go is not a good idea as a system. Slingshot underdog mechanic you mentioned is probably why I love Kill Team, at least so for all my games. That's great. That's great. Yeah. Right. So I suppose I should quickly talk about the other side, the dark side of 40k games being 3 hours, right? So again, I was just watching Morning and Glory, and he pointed out that something I had assumed that because the tournament rounds at the UKTC were 3 hours, people were finishing their games within 3 hours. That sounded logical to me. And I'm sure that many people did, to be clear, right? But he said that apparently, lately, on the Wargaming Live stream, that's a YouTube channel, Wargaming Live, a bunch of these top tables are not finishing their games. They're getting to round 3. And they're having to finish the game. And the way it works in tournaments is you're not allowed to talk out the game, right? So if you're like almost done at the end of turn 4, you can finish turn 5 in like a minute, because you just say, okay, well, I'd move here, you'd move there, blah, 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 right? Sometimes that's possible because it's very logical and there's not really anything happening. Maybe you need to roll 1 dice, right? But to finish turn 3 at the top tables, that's mad. I think he even said they were on a clock, so I don't know how the hell that went wrong. I don't know what happened there, but suddenly that changes things again. If people are timing out in a tournament consistently, regularly, and like on the top tables, so people you would assume know the game and are able to play within that 3-hour time limit normally, that's really weird. And suddenly that scares me off 40k a bit. Because as I said, that value proposition of the cool majesty and theme and spectacle of a 40k game and in 3 hours, really cool. 4 hours? I don't know. Suddenly maybe I'll probably go back to the better game, Kill Team. And yeah, there's less spectacle in it, but it's a faster game and I do value a fast game, you know? Tough one. Tough one. Of course, I don't know how endemic this is. I don't know how much it's actually happening. I don't know how stressed those people are finishing those 3-hour games or what's happening. I don't know how many people are talking it out regardless of the rules. I don't know if most people are just finishing in turn 3, because that totally changes my initial thought of 2k points, 3 hours, job done. That's cool. 2k points, 4 hours? I don't know, man. I don't know. But then on the flip side, when I play Kill Team, I only play 1 game, right? I don't go out to a local game store after work and get 2 games in the night. I'm not doing 4 hours. So if I'm already committed to 1 game, which can be a 2-hour Kill Team game, you know, it's not like I'm managing to fit more games in the same time or the same slot. You know, I don't know. We just tried like with the first few games, but there's just teams that can't get far without having a secondary way to score. Look at my poor 5-0 commanders. Yeah, obviously removing secondaries, yeah, it does mean that you are just there to kill stuff, obviously, which isn't how every team wins. That is true. I'm Underpants and Cigar and Beer Casual. Yes, some people refer to it as beer and pretzels gaming. I, of course, would never do that. That sounds horrifying. I prefer to call it tea and crumpets gaming, but to each their own. Love a good toasted crumpet, me. What can I say? I actually free I go, you go, because I hate when you have to go second and all of a sudden all your people are dead. I do agree with this, to be clear. Yes. It kind of sucks. I agree. It's like, oh, well, they did nothing. And then, yeah, people can say skill issue. It's like, yeah, true. Doesn't mean it's fun. Battletech, my main tabletop, does attack effects at the end of the phases. Yes, so I mean, I believe what you're referring to there is the way I would reference it is the apocalypse system at the end of 8th, I guess. It'd be 8th, maybe it was 9th. Did the same thing. So you did your thing, you did all of your attacks, and basically when you did damage, you just put a marker on that unit to say this unit has taken damage. And then you resolve all of the damage at the end of the game, which is cool. I really, as a concept, as someone that wasn't playing 40k, I really liked that idea, because it meant that, hey, yeah, okay, you're 99% gonna destroy that Baneblade I just brought to the table, that Titan, but it still gets to do everything first. I was like, oh, that's cool. I like that. Nice. Okay. With that said, let's have a quick shrinkify of me. We got like 10 minutes here, guys, girls, glazers. My Kill Team glazers, what's up? What do we want to look at? let's have a think about that tier list I'm going to have to make tomorrow. Before we get the new data so that I can, and it becomes irrelevant. What are we looking at here? What the hell? Why are Necrons... No, oh, Gellerbox, alright, never mind. Cool. So, here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking people have not responded well to my my stats videos. It's really frustrating. So I'm thinking what I might do. There are two types of tier list videos I can do. One, which I've done before, is I preset the tier list and just go off win rates, right? And then I talk about each one a little bit as I go through and just say the reason it's here is because of this. It's a win rate. It's a stats video hidden as a tier list, so you're just seeing the different tiers. And it's kind of quite factual in that regard, because it's not my tier list, it's the statistics, but done as a more interesting format. And then I just say a little bit my thoughts on why each team is there, etc, etc. Or I go on vibes. The problem with vibes is that although I play Kill Team once a week ish, so that is more than I play any other game, that's for sure. And that's good and stuff. But then kind of what am I doing with that? And like, there are teams I just don't know about. Like, oh, and teams I'm super biased against as well. Because they beaten me and it felt like bullshit. Like, Plague Marines. I have not played Plague Marines. Isn't that crazy? I have not played into or against Plague Marines. That's a really weird one because they're obviously a very popular team because they're in the starter set. I just haven't played them. That's mad. To have them as a blind spot is insane. Obviously, I've played all of the other new teams, so I kind of know them the best in a sense. But like, haven't played Inquisition at all this edition. Played Farstalkers, Goremongers, Exaction, Rattlings. Haven't played Hearthkin. Haven't played... Yeah, there's lots of teams I just don't know about, really. So yeah, there you go. Tough one. I played as Kassakin. You saw the battle report on that. They're not doing good. They need help, that's for sure. I don't know what they're going to do with them. They tried to redesign the team. And just... people cried out for so long they wanted a 3-up ballistic skill. They got it, but they made the whole team so boring. It's really sad because Kassakin are the elite humans before you get, Space Runes. I was like, oh man, what do I do? Ugh. They made them so boring. What's the most common team you play against? Angels of Death. You've got to understand that my local meta is like 3 people. Because I'm lazy and I don't want to drive 25 minutes to get to an actual club where I will be able to play a bunch of absolute sweatlords, to be clear, but also much more varied than me down in Salisbury. But yeah, I could easily go and play way more people and way more factions, etc. But yeah, I don't really want to. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with just playing people I know, having fun, being nice and relaxed and chilled. That works for me. Yeah, it's pretty okay for me. If I'm honest, I don't need to be a top tier, know-it-all sweatlord to have my fun in Kill Team. It does, however, therefore mean that, hey, if my opponent only wants to play Marines, I guess I'm going to play a lot of Marines. Because he's the only one that's free for the next 2 weeks, so okay. Fine, 4 games into AOD and Scouts. Let's do it. Hello again, Mr. Halfdead. I'm late today. Played my Death Court into Blades of Cain today and came out with a W. That just win tactic does... Yeah, it's a really good tactic. Yeah. Matched about 40 minutes, even learning rules. That's a very fast match. That sounds horrifying for the Blades of Cain. Yeah, really tough one for the Blades of Cain there. You'd have to know your rules really well. Because now that you guys get, Ceaseless and Severe... And accurate, is that it? Are you ceaseless, accurate 1, and severe at all times? Basically. Man. That's just going to tear through. Absolutely tear through Blazer K. Yeah. Yeah, real tough one. DK just win tactic. We can go to Battle Kit here. We can go to Death Core. Basically, they got buffed. They got buffed. So you use Take Aim, so you get Ceaseless. And you take a Ploy. Which one is it? Oh, Saturate. Saturate, sorry. You don't get Severe, ignore that. So you use Siege Warfare for 1 CP. So you always get Accurate 1 and Saturate, so you're never retaining cover. You're always hitting once. And then you got Ceaseless on your other 3 dice. You suddenly become pretty damn accurate, even though you're hitting on 4s. And it's live for all of your weapons, not just like a normal lasgun or something. And then if you want, instead of taking 14 models, so, you know, 4 extra troopers, you could take 3 extra troopers, and this is then always free. So you have it up the whole time. And of course, you got your Ceaseless up the whole time as well, obviously, from your racial. Yeah. Yeah. They suddenly become super effective. That's obviously partly why Sammy managed to win with them at that American tournament that he went to, which is cool. So yeah, very strong, I would say. Very strong. Yeah. Man. So I guess with all of that said, I'm probably gonna do a stats-based tier list because I don't have enough things to say about just vibes, about my just vibes tier list. But either way, I'm actually really excited to see what comes out this week. So that's pretty hype. That's pretty hype for sure. But we shall see. I'm expecting a big change, big list. Who knows? Who knows? If it's a small list, I'm actually going to be quite disappointed and down on it. I'm expecting us to get a lot of changes, so a lot of changes for many factions, but all of them to be actually quite minor changes, because that seems to be how GW is doing it for Kill Team at the moment. All of our buffs, nerfs, are quite minimal. I guess they have done a few over nerfs for some teams maybe, but honestly probably acceptable. But then others have been like, honestly, such light touches. Genuinely. Like, yeah. There you go. Cool. Well, everybody, I think that's about that. Hey, I will see you tomorrow in a video, and it will either be a tier list, or it will be me reading through the rules that the new balance day state that they give us, depending on when that releases. So make sure to drop in and check me out there. And if you've made it to the end of the stream, I'd like to give you a big triple hello. Wow, so wholesome. The wholesome is truly knows no bounds of the worlds of Glass Half Dead. What is a triple hello? It's a hello. It's a pleasantry given to you thrice. Who wouldn't want a pleasantry given to you thrice? That's the question. And of course, hey, if you've supported me either here on the channel, whether that be by watching ads, by engaging with my content, by donating on stream, or donating over on Patreon, where you do get extra rambly content and coming soon extra battle reports. Thank you so much, and that has gone straight towards my Hydratus Dominatus fund. Thank you. Have a good one out there. Stay safe. I will see you in tomorrow's video. Bye.